What that means is it's violence of any form, being physical violence, emotional abuse, psychological manipulation, socioeconomic abuse, financial abuse, and all of the above.
So as you can see, domestic violence is a huge problem all over the world. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story, but I first want to bring up somebody who I met just recently, who was able to open up to me about some of the things that he's experienced in his life that no child, nobody should ever have to go through. Kaya, I would be honored if you would come here and share your story with us.
Wow. Amazing, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
What a cause. I often, with Veronica and I, by the way, this is Veronica Lorea. She's the founder of Transform and Thrive Project. We just got back from Brazil. This is a huge problem in other countries, not just the countries that you're working in Brazil. Oftentimes what happens is there's the domestic violence, which leads to the woman being killed, and then the person, the man goes to the police and they go through some formalities, and next thing you know, he's back home. So it's kind of just washed under the rug. This is a very dear subject to me because how many of us know someone, or you have someone in your family that's been facing this?
Yeah.
So I have someone who's extremely close. So if you think of close being the person that's closest to you in your family, who's been in this situation for many, many years. First, the violence was against they had 4 kids. The first violence was against the second to youngest kid who was having a hard time doing their math. The dad gets frustrated and starts hitting the kid. The mom comes in to defend her own son, and then he gets physical with the mom, and next thing you know, 30 SWAT team shows up, he goes to jail, he gets out of jail, goes through the whole anger management thing, and they say, look, you can't have this man back at the house, and of course, you know, hit it, he's coming back to the house, and then the whole cycle happens again. Then in this couple, very close to me, then there's infidelity, and then that led to a whole other thing where both of them, out of frustration and anger, started to try to commit suicide to themselves. Both the father and the mother both trying to commit suicide to themselves in the house with the 4 kids, and there's nobody there. You know, so it's what I've learned, or what I know, and what we all know. This is the thing that we all know. It's an uncomfortable subject. No one ever really wants to talk about it. It's an embarrassing subject to talk about. People, it's a secretive thing, right? Child abuse, sex trafficking. We hear a lot about it, but when we hear couples that have domestic violence, they don't want to talk about it anymore. So that's why this mission, what Michelle is doing here, is huge, because she has owned her voice. You know, that's an amazing, incredible thing right there that's going to change this world. It's the fact that she came forward, she's a dynamic, powerful woman, admitted she was in this situation, admitted that she didn't know, and she's saying, I went through this, so this opens the door for so many others. So Michelle and I talked, and I shared with her that I do a lot of rehabilitation for people that are suffering from domestic violence, kind of couples, one-on-one coaching stuff that I do. And we also help veterans that suffer from PTSD. So I get a lot of people that are at the end of their rope and they're suicidal. I'm going to share with you 3 simple steps that Michelle, she said, don't make it too complicated, because I got a lot of, you know, the abuse cycle, secondary. She said, no, keep it simple, just 3 simple things. So the first thing is a breakthrough. Who's ever gone through a breakthrough, right? A shift. Who's been changed by something you saw or heard in that moment? Your life is completely changed. Yeah. And you just leveled up, you raised your bar. So reaching these people and giving them a breakthrough. And I love what you shared about superiority, right? And that's all based on inferiority. It's all based on beyond insecurity. And so having couples get this coaching, this opportunity to sit in front of someone who's been working with this, who can help them solve the problem, and that's a breakthrough. The breakthrough has to go to the very beginning, right? Hurt people. People that, if you look at this couple, so she was abused as a kid, he was abused as a kid. So what happens is that all gets normalized, right? It's normal. If you see your parents fighting and screaming and punching each other in the face and bloody face and bloody nose, and that's what you grew up with, eventually it's like, hey, I'm just going to go do my homework. Like quite literally. Eventually it just becomes normalized. So then that normalcy, then you get into a relationship and then you get triggered, and what comes out is the normalcy. You start to exhibit the same behaviors that your parents did. So healing the past, we're very big on no one's a victim. And why do we say that? Because yes, they are. People are. I have been. I've been physically, mentally, emotionally, and sexually abused as a young kid for many years. I will still not say I'm a victim. Why? Because it doesn't hold me in a position of creating my future the way I want it. It's a story. Oprah went through stuff. We have tons of people that have gone through stuff, and yet they have turned their deep sorrows into transformation, and they've actually elevated mankind. So it's really about empathy, discussion, and a breakthrough, healing the past. And then that's the first step. First step is they need help. Second step is taking action. So what happens is the person learns something, goes home, and now they have to take action. Action doesn't mean get aggressive. Action means enforcing a what?
Boundary.
A boundary. If the boundary is not enforced, then the person steps over the boundary and you just go back to the same cycle again. So how do you enforce a boundary? You enforce a boundary by what you did, Michelle, owning your voice, loving yourself, knowing that in no way, shape, or form did you come to this world to be a victim. You came to be a great everything, right? You came to be the light, right? And so enforcing the boundary, and that's difficult because sometimes we have to say no. We have to say no to someone we love. And actually we have to say yes to ourselves and say yes to them. When we say no to them, we're saying yes to ourselves and yes to them, because then we break, that's called a pattern interrupt. And that's the second step. The third step is focus on what you want. Mother Teresa was asked to join an anti-war rally. And she said, don't invite me to an anti-war rally. Once you have a pro-peace rally, you're focusing on the solution where we want to go, I will show up. And so focusing on what you want, meaning that how many of us, let's be honest, how many of us have people in our lives where they've got some faults?
Yeah.
They've got some stuff. Wow, you're angry all the time. It's like, if that's what we want to focus on, then that's exactly what we're going to get. So focusing on what we want to create, and that's difficult, and yet it's absolutely necessary. Focusing on the light in each other. And what I believe, if you agree with me, is that this is actually our responsibility. Not just this cause, all the causes out there. This is all our responsibility. People will go, oh, well, that's them. They're crazy, and that's that country, and that no, that's me, and that's you, that's us. We're all one. We're already in that conversation, and that's our responsibility. And so I really want to thank you because I don't often get an opportunity to. We do corporate coaching, sales, leadership, and transformation. And this is not a topic that Fortune 500 companies usually want to hear about when I get up and talk. They want to increase their production, make more money. They don't want to hear the depressing stuff. So I don't much have an opportunity, and I think now this is an opportunity for us to join forces, and let's all collaborate with this woman in this great mission and vision. Let's support this cause.